Most people who try to learn a foreign language fail for a very specific reason. You have no idea what the hell you're doing. So you learn for years, maybe you work hard, you put in the hours, but the results never match the effort. And the reason is always the same. You're not using an effective system. You're just doing random stuff or things that are completely useless. If your goal is real fluency, the kind where you get to have long conversations about interesting topics and talk to native speakers all day and understand native speaker content, you need to learn around 10,000 words. Not grammar rules, not app levels or streaks, words. And more importantly, words you can actually use automatically when you open your mouth. The big mistake is thinking that those 10,000 words need to be learned one by one. They don't. Fluency doesn't come from collecting isolated words from flashcards. It comes from building connected systems in your brain. And that is precisely why the foundation of everything I do is something I call language islands. A language island is a cluster of sentences around one specific topic or scenario for real life, like talking about your work, your daily life, giving opinions, talking about traveling, talking about health, relationships, etc. Things you talk about in real life, things you would actually say. Each one of those topics or situations would be a language island. And inside each island, you're learning all the vocabulary that you need inside the sentences you actually need to use. So you're not just learning words, you're learning how those words work in real life, how they behave together with other words in complete sentences and with connectors that glue everything into real speech. And of course, your vocabulary also needs to be organized by frequency. Higher frequency words, you should learn them first. The words that show up all the time, everywhere, in every conversation, you need to learn them as fast as possible. Each word inside an example sentence, ideally, never alone. Because sentences give you context, grammar, usage, everything. And there's another tool that almost everyone ignores: word families. Languages don't grow one word at a time. They grow in clusters, in groups of words. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, they're all clearly related to many other words. And when you learn them together, all those similar words together, each one with an example sentence, it'll be much easier to remember them that way. And instead of one word at a time, you can learn 5 or 10 or even more words at a time. This is how you scale vocabulary efficiently, instead of constantly relearning the same things over and over again. If the language is really hard and you struggle to learn even the basic words, then you should use mnemonic associations. This will help you remember all the words much faster. Mnemonic associations are an extremely efficient way to memorize anything. Check out my tutorial videos if you want to learn how to do this. Basically, you take the word you're trying to learn, you find a word that sounds like that new word, and you create a visual association. And this will help your brain remember it long term. And this alone is extremely powerful. But if you then use spaced repetition to review it, your results will skyrocket. Reviewing is important, and the easiest way to do it is not with flashcards, but with audio. You get all those example sentences of the words you're trying to learn. You create text-to-speech software of all those sentences, and you listen to them on repeat. You can do it while working out like I do, or while going to work and back, while doing things at home, going for walks. There are lots of different things you can do while listening to your sentences in the background. And this alone will help you remember a lot of those sentences easily, especially if you've used mnemonics to memorize them. And then finally comes the step that turns passive knowledge into active fluency, because understanding something is not the same thing as being able to say it. So you need to use active recall. You take the sentences that you want to learn, the ones that you want to be able to say in your native language, and you translate them into the target language without looking, without cheating. You look at them in English and you try to say them in the target language. You check if you've said them correctly or not. And this is the fastest way to take all those words and sentences from your passive vocabulary you understand, to your active vocabulary you actually use in real life. Don't listen to those people who tell you that you need a silent period of many months and thousands of hours of comprehensible input before you start speaking. That's a massive waste of time. Don't do that. Start speaking from day one. If your goal is to speak the language, you should start practicing your speaking skills from day one. Start doing active recall from day one. When you combine language islands with frequency-based vocabulary lists, word families, mnemonic associations, and constant listening and daily active recall, you'll be able to learn thousands of useful words and sentences really fast and actually use them in real conversations. Your vocabulary will grow extremely fast, you'll stop forgetting words, and speaking will become much less stressful and much more enjoyable. You will not have to translate in your head. You will simply retrieve the information quickly and easily, and therefore you'll be able to speak fluently. This is how you can learn 10,000 words and become fluent in any language fast, without wasting lots of time and without burning out. You don't develop fluency by chasing novelty and by jumping from method to method. You get fluent by doing a small number of extremely efficient things every single day. Fluency is not about talent or age or all those immersion fantasies. It's about building the ability to speak with the right speaking exercises. That's it. If you want to see exactly how to do all of this, how to build language islands, how to structure your vocabulary lists, how to review efficiently, how to train active recall, all of that, watch my tutorials.